St. Petersburg. Amongst them, of course, Jose Manuel Barroso and Catherine Ashton. They're expected to press Putin on they want to encourage him to take a tougher stance on Syria. Do you think that they have any chance of success, or at least partial success?
You know, it's easy to be cynical with this. We set up these summit meetings as, sort of a dialogue of equals. One side presents their case, the other side gives its case, and somehow they find some common ground, and there will be some daylight between them. The fact is, as we have seen, there's nothing in the precedent of the previous days or weeks to suggest that Russia is about to budge on this issue. So while it pains me to say so, I don't think that any amount of huffing and puffing today, at least, from where we stand now by EU officials, is going to make Putin move his line. Now, why is that? I mean, this is in a sense a glory moment for Russia, because on a lot of fronts, Russia feels sort of besieged, under fire. This is a chance for Putin to wave a trump card. This vote, this blocking vote that Russia as well as China have on the UN Security Council on the Syria issue is almost a point of pride in Russia. And in Russian public opinion, most Russians are very much behind Russia's line. The line being, do not let the West impose its terms. Do not let Russia be ganged up on and made to shift its stance due to Western pressure. They really do subscribe to that line we heard from Bashar Assad in his speech, that this is a matter of the West somehow trying to sabotage the Syrian regime, to impose, to foist a covert agenda to bring down Assad, to bring down the regime. This is something that Russia just does not, it will not hear any of it. So for now, no. When you ask me, will the EU officials be able to make Putin budge on that issue at all? No. Putin for now is in a very strong point. He's enjoying this moment on the world stage. He's enjoying being able to flex Russia's military diplomatic muscle and show that we are still very much a power to be reckoned with.
And Russia's also rejected efforts by human rights officials to condemn the Syrian regime for the Hula massacre.
There was a vote on the UN Human Rights Council, and 41 voted in favor, but Russia and China significantly, who do have a blocking vote on the UN Security Council, as I just mentioned, they voted against this move to what was it? It was a move to basically condemn the Hula massacres, but not just that, to really individually point a finger of blame at the Syrian regime. That is, put the onus of blame on the regime and to say, no, this is not a case in which each side has some blame to apportion out. This is predominantly, largely the work of Assad's regime and his so-called hired thugs. And also, the UNHCR would like to bring Syria before the International Criminal Court. Now, we know Syria is not does not subscribe, never signed on to this court, doesn't recognize this court. So it really has limited jurisdiction as far as Syria is concerned. But Russia was very clear, and Vladimir Putin himself was very clear in rejecting this UNHCR resolution against Syria, calling it unbalanced. That is the sort of context, that is the mood in which we are going into this EU meeting today that you were talking about. Really very much a very large wedge still between Russia and the West on this issue.
Let's talk about the US. Washington has made it very clear that Russia's opposition is making it harder to forge some sort of coalition against President Assad.
Hillary Clinton has been on the phone several times to the Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, and she said to him in no uncertain terms that she knows Russia has a key leverage over Syria, because let's face it, Syria has effectively two power-playing allies on the world stage right now, Russia and Iran. And what she basically said is, you are the key to any successful political transition strategy. Now, she uses the words political transition strategy. When Putin hears those words out of Hillary Clinton's mouth, what he hears is getting Assad out of power. He is not there yet at all. We saw Vladimir Putin meeting with the new president here, François Hollande, on Friday. And what essentially did he say? He said, we're very much against sanctions, a position that François Hollande said we need tougher sanctions. He said he's not sure, Putin, that sanctions will really do anything to better this case and foster political dialogue. And he also said getting Assad out of power. What's that going to do? Let me quote him. He says, why do we think that if we push Assad from power, that well-being will all of a sudden begin in Syria? What's happening? What have we seen in Libya? What have we seen in Iraq? These are the questions Putin was very forcefully asking. Is it safer in any of these places? Putin very much opposed to the line taken by Washington and the West. And I'll just mention, Hillary Clinton said that a ship arrived with heavy weapons to the port of Tartus in Syria. She thinks that Russia is helping to strengthen the arms regime with weapons, even if Putin will deny that to the hilt, that his weapons are in any way feeding civil conflict over there.
All right, thank you very much, Douglas Herbert, for that look at top story. Moving on to some other news now. Caught after eluding the police for 17 years. Naoko Kikuchi was arrested in Tokyo at the weekend. The 40-year-old woman is one of the 2 remaining fugitive suspects from the doomsday cult behind the 1995 nerve gas attack on the Tokyo subway. She's accused of manufacturing the sarin gas used in that attack. 13 commuters were killed and thousands fell sick. Now, George Zimmerman is back in jail in Florida. The man charged with the murder of Trayvon Martin had his bail revoked after prosecutors argued he'd misled the court about his finances. Zimmerman is charged with second-degree murder for shooting dead the unarmed black teenager in February. He says it was in self-defense. Getting a glimpse of the Queen, that was the aim of hundreds of thousands of people who braved the rain and cold in London to watch the Diamond Jubilee pageant weave its way along the Thames. It was the largest such pageant for 350 years. And that's not it. There are 2 more days of Jubilee events.
The fanfare and the rain, together a very British day out. Some queued overnight to join more than 1 million people who gathered on the banks of the River Thames for the second day of celebrations of the Queen's 60 years on the throne.
Well, we missed the royal wedding, so we thought we really wanted to come here for this. I mean, we've only ever known one Queen in our lifetime, so...
The queue was about a mile long to get in. We had to wait for 3 hours. Everyone seems to be in a pretty good mood. It's kind of standard British weather, really, so...
As she set off to lead a 1,000 boat flotilla along the river, London ground to a halt. Even the trains saluted the Queen and Prince Philip as they passed by. Her family gathered on the royal barge, including Prince Charles and Camilla, Princes William and Harry, as well as the Duchess of Cambridge, Kate Middleton, who stole the show in her scarlet Alexander McQueen dress. The nations of the Commonwealth were all represented on the river, with spectacular results. Passing the London landmarks and a gun salute, the Spirit of Chartwell carried the royal family some 11 kilometres, arriving slightly damper at Tower Bridge. An estimated 6 million people across the UK attended Diamond Jubilee lunch parties, including one hosted at the Prime Minister's home, 10 Downing Street, which had to be moved inside because of the rain.
Well, that's the British summertime for you. But I think above all what we're celebrating today is the 60 years she's given of service to our country, but also this extraordinary institution that stands above politics, that brings the country together. It's something we're all celebrating today.
The flotilla broke the record for the largest floating pageant ever. With it, Britannia may have ruled the waves, but it has 2 more days of celebrations to conquer the weather.
The rain not dampening the spirits of